Hey guys, what's up? It's Howard from AppFind here, another exclusive video. Today we're going to be showing you the differences between the Google Maps application and the Apple Maps app that comes with iOS 6. Now, as you guys know, the Google Maps app did come out earlier today. It was a really big deal. It's been getting a lot of good ratings, and it looks pretty good so far. But one of the main questions I've been asked is, which is better? And I'm going to be showing you my opinions and taking a look at some of the different features right now in this video. We're here loaded up with Google Maps application, which is free in the App Store. You can download it, link in the description below. And I have Apple Maps loaded up over here. Now I have them both zoomed into the Santa Monica Municipal Airport, and that's just an easy way that we can tell the difference between the two and kind of get the same kind of environment for both of them to see some of the differences. Now the first thing that I actually noticed is how much more detail seems to be put into the Google application. Now, for fairness, let's just turn traffic off here. But even with the traffic off, you can see that the detail is a lot more vivid in the Google Maps application itself. So let's just take a look here. As you can see a lot of the smaller streets, a lot of the outlines of the buildings, a bunch of different colors that are all worked in here, and it kind of seems to flow pretty smooth. Now, if you take a look at the Apple Maps, you can see that there are some small lines. I'm not sure if the camera's fully focusing, but they aren't really detailed, and they're not as easily visible, even with the naked eye, to see than the Google Maps is. And let's just take another look here. As you can see all the different structures, and all the roads are clearly distinct. Now, the other thing that I liked is the fact that everything else seems to be outlined in yellow here, and it's a nice light yellow, but it makes the road show up in contrast. As you can see over here with the Apple Maps, it is white roads, and although you can still see them, they aren't as good at contrasting with the background that is present. It's about the same color background in both of them, so that kind of adds a little downside to it. Now, as far as interface goes, I actually really like the sleek Google interface. Now, as opposed to the Apple Maps interface. As far as everything looks, I gotta hand that to Google Maps, actually. Now, let's take a look at more details about the place that you're searching for. So, obviously we searched here for the Santa Monica Municipal Airport. If we click over here, it'll bring up Yelp, and let's see what Apple Maps has to say. Let me just try that again. There we go. Let's see what Apple Maps has to say. Now, it does have some pictures here, and it's got a phone number, it's got their address, some stuff on Yelp, it's got some reviews and some photos, and you can go through some of the photos and stuff, and wants to open up another app, apparently. Oh, so it's trying to open up Yelp. I actually have never used that feature before, really. I mean, I've looked at the photos, just not gone into Yelp. So that brings you all the way to a different application, so I got to subtract some points for that, because that is not that cool. But let's take a look over here at the Google one. Let's see some of the cool features that Google has packed in here. Now, as you can see, you just have to tap the bottom, and you can instantly call, save, or share, so that's an added bonus. It's got all of this different stuff. It does have their website, more info. It's got some reviews. Now, it does have less reviews than Yelp, so I gotta say that, but it's easier to put in reviews here because you don't have to go into a different application, and you can actually see the photos. Now, it has less photos, mind you, but you can still see the photos. And it does require users to take photos, so as Google acquires more users that are going to take photos, they'll get more photos. So that's the thing as well. Now, as you can see, we've got our street view, and this right here is what blows away Apple Maps. Now, Apple Maps' equivalent of Street View is Flyover, and that's only available in some cities. And Street View is all across the United States. And as you can see here, we got a nice little Street View, and it's the same kind of Street View that you would see before. Now, to be fair, let's get into our 3D. So as far as the two different services go, I definitely give it to Google for their Street View versus the Flyover. As you can see, not really loading that fast. All right, let's exit out of Street View just like that, and exit out of that. From now on, I'm just going to be using this area because I don't want to get back into the same place. But we're just going to take a look at some of these things just a second. So that's basically it. As you can see, the street view is probably better than the flyover. But as far as the reviews go and images, I got to hand it to Apple Maps because they just have integration with Yelp. Now, I'd prefer it if it didn't go into a different application, but I guess that's probably the deal that they had worked out with Yelp anyways, so there's really no changing that. Alright, so let's take a look at satellite. Now, I'm going to be comparing two different places, so just bear in mind two different areas. But let's get both of them into the satellite mode. And as you can see here, looks pretty good. Let's just zoom in a bit. Alright, so as you can see, we got all of our streets here. We've got our satellite, and actually, satellite over here is actually the equivalent of hybrid. So there's a real satellite and a hybrid mode on Apple Maps, and there's only the satellite, which is pretty much a hybrid, the same thing as that. Now, as you can see, you can rotate it. It's actually easier and more fluid to rotate on Google Maps. I'm not sure if that is actually built in there or if it's just me, but I think it seems easier to rotate this. It goes a little faster. But anyways, we take a look here. You can zoom in. And even, I know these are two different places, but they're around the same area. They're both near the LA area. So you take a look here, the images seem a lot more, and actually let's zoom out to about the same distance, look a little bit more crisp over here than opposed to Apple Maps. But that might just be the location. But I do think they look a little bit more crisp on Google Maps themselves. Now, let's take a look at the last thing we're going to look at. And that'll be directions. I'm going to pop some directions in here, and we'll be right back, and we'll take a look. Alright, so just for fun here, I did put in how to get to Google headquarters from Apple headquarters. And we're going to see here, I already like what Google Maps has done, because as you can see, they actually have all of the different routes that you can take, and you can choose a route, and all the different times that it'll take, and you can see some of the route options here. For Apple, it's just going to choose one route, and that's it. And then for Google, it lets you choose one of these routes. So I'm going to choose the quickest route. Now, over here, you can see it's not as detailed as to what roads you're taking, but you can see a lot of the different roads here. In preview, as you can see, when you actually start it up, it's going to be looking at it a little more. It's going to be less like a GPS, and Apple's going to be a little bit more like a GPS in this sense. Now, which one do I prefer for this? I gotta say they both have their ups and downs. Obviously, I think a lot of us know that the directions for Apple are kind of messed up. Especially, you've been hearing about it in the news and stuff, Australia, all these different things. I mean, they've rectified the problems, but there has been a lot of problems over here, and Google tends to not have as many problems. So I gotta say that I'm probably give it to Google, although the directions look a little bit easier and better, and I think that's a lot of thanks to TomTom for Apple itself, because the directions are a little more sleek instead of just saying where it needs to go next. It's kind of like got the turn right with the little turn right symbol. So I actually do like that a little bit better on Apple Maps. So I think in the end, and that's pretty much all we need to talk about here with these two, they are two totally different style applications, and you can like them for different reasons. Now, one of the biggest things, though, with Apple Maps is it did screw up in a lot of different places, and a lot of different places aren't accurately portrayed on Apple Maps. So as far as accuracy goes, it's definitely got to be Google, and as far as clarity goes, it's got to be Google. But some of the interfaces on Google aren't as easier to use as Apple, and also haven't been used as long, such as Yelp and all that stuff that shows you a lot of the different descriptions. So I got to say that it does have to be Google that would win. I would prefer to use Google Maps than Apple Maps. But leave a comment in the comment section below. Which one do you think? And this is just purely for Google. Apple Maps is still pretty good, and it is definitely a great overall application. But I think that Google Maps is the alternative. And let me know. What do you guys think? See you guys later. I'm out from AppFind. Bye.